Across the United States, a growing number of white individuals express unease about immigration trends, economic shifts, and cultural changes, often in private conversations or online forums. Some might consider joining white advocacy groups to voice these concerns, seeking organizations that claim to protect cultural heritage or address perceived inequities. Yet, the dominant white supremacist groups, such as the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, neo-Nazi factions like the National Socialist Movement, and militia-style outfits like Atomwaffen Division, consistently fail to attract them. Their tactics, marked by futility, apparent incompetence, and a paramilitary obsession, push potential recruits away. Many see these groups as either infiltrated by federal agents or too disorganized to achieve anything meaningful. This piece explores how these dynamics discourage white people from organizing, highlighting the lack of legitimacy, strategic missteps, and counterproductive behaviors that undermine any pro-white movement. White supremacist groups have a history of falling short of their stated goals. The KKK, active since the 1860s, gained influence through intimidation during Reconstruction, but saw membership collapse after federal interventions in the 1960s, with numbers dropping to a few thousand by 2020, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC. More recent efforts, like the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, aimed to unify white nationalists but ended in chaos, with clashes leading to 1 death and dozens injured. The event triggered a $26 million civil lawsuit against organizers, fracturing alliances and leaving the movement weaker. These incidents reveal a pattern. High-profile actions generate backlash rather than progress, deterring those who might otherwise seek a platform. The organizational ineptitude of these groups further erodes their appeal. The Aryan Nations, once a prominent neo-Nazi group, lost its Idaho compound in a 2000 lawsuit and has since struggled to maintain a cohesive structure, with membership dwindling to under 100 by 2023, per SPLC data. Without clear leadership or sustainable plans, these groups rely on sporadic rallies or online rants, offering no tangible outcomes like policy changes or community initiatives. For someone considering advocacy, the absence of functional organization signals a dead end. Suspicion of federal infiltration adds another layer of deterrence. Historical cases, such as the 1980s FBI sting against the Order, a white supremacist group involved in bank robberies, showed agents penetrating extremist circles to disrupt them. More recently, the 2020 arrest of 8 Atomwaffen Division members, including an FBI informant who encouraged illegal acts, fueled perceptions of government control. A 2019 Department of Justice report noted that domestic terrorism investigations often involve informants, with white supremacist groups a frequent target. Potential recruits, wary of surveillance, hesitate to join when leaders suddenly face charges or meetings feel orchestrated, as seen in the 2021 takedown of the base. Even if legitimacy were established, the lack of strategic competence remains a barrier. Groups like the National Alliance, which once boasted a significant following, published literature but failed to translate it into political influence, with membership shrinking to a few dozen by 2022. The SPLC's 2023 tally of over 800 hate group incidents showed most were isolated acts, not coordinated campaigns. Without skills in lobbying, media outreach, or coalition building, these outfits offer no roadmap to address concerns like immigration policy or economic displacement. For a pragmatic individual, joining feels pointless when the focus is on venting rather than winning. The paramilitary approach, a hallmark of groups like Atomwaffen Division and the Base, further alienates potential supporters. Since 2019, Atomwaffen Division held hate camps with combat drills, only to see leaders arrested in 2020 for plotting violence, documented in FBI affidavits. The Base, active from 2018 to 2020, organized similar training sessions, leading to arrests in 2020. These activities resemble weekend warrior games rather than serious organizing. In a digital era, where influence flows through social media and policy debates, such tactics seem outdated, deterring those who see no relevance to modern challenges. This paramilitary focus also breeds discomfort. Videos from Atomwaffen Division gatherings show members shouting orders at each other, a style that clashes with individuals seeking dialogue over discipline. A 2021 interview with a former member, published by the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, described quitting after a training session where an uncredentialed leader demanded exercises, calling it embarrassing. For someone weighing advocacy, the prospect of being yelled at by strangers with no proven track record is unappealing, especially when the outcome is police raids rather than results. These tactics not only fail but actively undermine their own aims. The KKK's cross-burnings in the 1990s prompted stricter hate crime laws, with the 2009 Matthew Shepard Act expanding federal oversight. The January 6th riot, linked to militia groups, led to over 1,200 arrests by 2024, per DOJ records, strengthening anti-extremism measures. Paramilitary stunts feed narratives of domestic threats, as seen in the 2021 Biden administration strategy to counter white supremacist violence, which allocated $160 million to prevention programs. If the goal is a pro-white movement, these actions invite the opposite: more regulation and marginalization. The perception of controlled opposition heightens this effect. The 1987 arrest of KKK leader Robert Miles, revealed as an informant, set a precedent for distrust. Recent cases, like the 2018 arrest of identity of ROPA members on weapons charges tied to an informant, reinforce the idea that groups may serve government interests. A 2022 ProPublica investigation found evidence of undercover agents in some circles, leading to speculation about intentional disruption. This erodes confidence, as potential members question whether joining aids the opposition rather than their cause. The broader impact is a chilling effect on organization. Census data from 2020 shows white Americans at 57.8% of the population, a decline from 63.7% in 2010, fueling unease. Yet, with groups like the National Socialist Movement holding rallies that draw dozens rather than thousands, as noted in a 2023 SPLC report, the movement fails to capitalize. A 2022 Pew Research survey found 54% of white Republicans disavow white nationalism, citing its association with violence and disorganization. Frustrated individuals retreat to private grumbling or online anonymity, avoiding groups that seem more hindrance than help. Comparatively, other advocacy models offer contrast. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, with a 2023 budget of $300 million, uses legal challenges and public campaigns to effect change. White supremacist groups, with no comparable resources, Atomwaffen Division's activities were funded by small donations, per 2020 court filings, lack the infrastructure to compete. This gap underscores why their tactics, from woods drills to street clashes, fail to resonate with those seeking practical solutions. Ultimately, the futility and silliness of these groups create a vicious cycle. The 2020 arrest of 13 Atomwaffen Division members in a weapons sting, covered by major outlets like CNN, drew national scorn rather than support. Such events paint the movement as a joke, discouraging participation. For every white person considering advocacy, the sight of flailing paramilitary antics or federal busts reinforces a simple truth: these groups don't work, and joining them risks ridicule over results. Without a shift to credible, strategic efforts, the pro-white impulse remains stifled, its energy dissipated by the very organizations meant to harness it.